everyone, Meg here from I Teach Stamping, and today we're going to be making birthday cards. And in just probably a little bit more time than it normally takes to make one card, I'm going to show you how you can make 4. So let's take a moment and review our supplies. You're going to need your paper trimmer and then 2 pieces of cardstock. I'm going with Pool Party. They're both going to be 8.5 by 11, a piece of Whisper White that's 8.5 by 11, your pattern paper, mine is Petal Garden, and it's a 6 by 6 piece. You're going to want 4 strips of coordinating cardstock. I went with Smoky Slate. They're each going to be 3/4 of an inch by 6 inches. Then you're going to need your stamp and your ink pad, a border punch, your ribbon and bow maker, and then you're going to want, depending on whatever size sentiment you're going with, coordinating Whisper White ovals, or of course it can be whatever shape you want. I also die cut a size larger matte in Old Olive, and then our adhesive and scissors. So the only thing I did ahead of time was my die cutting. So if you're going to use these similar dies, then you're going to also need your die cutting machine. You can also use any punches that you have, or you can just use your paper trimmer to cut out squares or rectangles. So, all right, let's go ahead and start by cutting down our cardstock. So I'm using a paper trimmer. This is the one from Stampin' Up. I like this one because it has both a cutting and scoring blade. They'll take you all the way down to your cutting line. That's very unusual. We're gonna start by scoring our cardstock, one of our pieces of Pool Party. I'm gonna score it first at 5.5, and then I'm gonna turn it and we're gonna cut it at 4 1/4. So I always like to score once and cut once. So that's why I do my scoring first. So we've got 2 card bases this way. And now we're gonna do just the opposite with our other piece of Pool Party. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. And then I'm going to cut it at 5.5. So now we've got these. All right, now we're gonna move to our Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. We're gonna make 4 panels the same size. Again, go ahead and cut it 4 inches. And we're gonna turn it and cut these down to 5 1/4. So now we have our card bases and our top panels cut and ready to go. We're ready to turn our attention to our piece of pattern paper. So it starts at 6 inches, and I'm going to cut it to 4 inches. I'm going to set aside my smaller piece and turn my larger one, and again I'm going to cut at 4 inches. Now I'm going to take this piece, our square, and I'm going to line up 2 of the tips into the cutting well. And I'm going to cut those in half. Then our only other piece to do is cutting this one down to 5 1/4. All right, so now that all of our cutting is done, you saw that honestly took less than probably a minute, right? So now we're ready to go ahead and do our stamping. So I'm going to bring in our 4 ovals, and I'm making mine say happy birthday, but of course you can have it say whatever you want. I'm going to use coordinating ink. This one is Calypso Coral. While those are drying, the next thing I would do is my border punch on my Smoky Slate strips. Just lining it up on the other side and work my way down. For the sake of time, I've done these ahead of time so you don't have to just stand there or sit there, whatever you're doing, and watch me punch. Okay, so that one will be long enough for one of the cards. That'll work. We'll clean up what I call our punch poop and get that all out of the way. So now we're ready to tie our bows. I'm going to use the 10-second bow maker, number 1 because I love it, but number 2, I want all my bows to be the exact same size. And so by using this, I can do that. Pull that off. Scissors were sitting on the wrong side. Ta-da! Fastest bow tying ever. All right, so believe it or not, we are ready now to assemble our cards. So I'm gonna bring in our white panels and our pattern paper. I'm also gonna bring in our gray strips that we die cut. And we're ready to start putting these together. So you can pick with this particular border punch which side you want to use. So you can either have the more ornate side or just have a scallop edge showing. It's whatever you want. Now I'm gonna add some more adhesive. And for this one, I'm gonna put it in the bottom left-hand corner. Then we can take our paper snips and trim off our excess gray. All right, for this triangle piece, we're gonna do the same thing we did before. We're just gonna make one little adjustment. We're gonna take this one and we're gonna put it in the lower right-hand corner, but we're also changing the orientation of our white cardstock. Then we're gonna trim off the excess, just like we did before. Okay. Now we have our long strip here. We just need to add some more adhesive. Oop, and stick him back down. There we go. We're going to take him and we're going to put this flush to the left side of one of our white panels. That's 3, almost done. Then we're going to take our last guy. We're going to put this one across the middle. Get our trash out of the way. That drives me nuts, having lots of little pieces floating around. So let's go ahead and start putting these onto our card bases. So I'm going to take this one and put it on here. There we go. And then we'll take this one on top of this. This is the fun part to me. When it all starts to come together, this is my favorite part of any project. So we're gonna have this one. And of course, you can change the direction of these to be whatever direction you want it to go. So if you don't want to cross the side, you can have it going across the bottom. It's whatever you want. So we have our 4 different card bases. And so now we just have our sentiments to put on in our bows. So I'm gonna put that one in place. I just have dimensionals on the back side. Okay, now we're gonna take our glue dots. Let's go ahead and get all of our bows in place. And then you just decide where you want to put them on your cards. There's no right or wrong. That is the beauty of card making. And so there we have it. As you saw, it doesn't take that much longer to make 4 cards versus 1 now that you know those tricks that I shared with you. If you find yourself needing any of the supplies that I used today, I certainly appreciate it when you order from me. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find those links in the description of this video. If you're on my blog, there's links right below it as well. Again, I'm Meg from I Teach Stamping. Thanks for watching and have a great day.